San Antonio. Things aren't going well.
All right, Ron, looking good, making it to number 4.
Okay. I don't know where you can go with the cell. You probably have to stay up here. Okay. All right. Thank you guys that are tuning in on Facebook and YouTube. Oh, Ron, ever so close, pivoting those rear tires around, almost clipped the rear tire with the outside edge, but was able to clear it. One more gate to go here. 50 seconds remaining for Ron. He's got to get through this last gate with just less than a minute left. Gonna have to take a reverse here. It's got that front end wedged. Great to have Ron back, just had some surgery, and it looks like he is healing up well, so. And this car is just wanting to do all kinds of weird things. It's always picking tires up off the ground. Not exactly sure if there is a shock issue or a suspension geometry, but Ron fights this car almost every time he's out on course with it just trying to do some weird things. And that is time for Ron. He will not get progression on gate 5. Just a 10-minute time limit. Seems like it's forever until you're on course, and then it just disappears very, very quickly. And again, doglegging that right rear tire, just trying to get off the course here at this point. But a great job by Ron to keep that tire those tires rubber side down and get his first course after surgery back out here with Werock. So again, you guys that are tuning in on Facebook and YouTube, thanks for joining us for the 2026 Werock Maxxis Tires Western Series Round 2 presented by Fabin 801. A beautiful day here at the Three Peaks Recreation Area just outside of Enoch and Cedar City. Check in over here on the Facebook side. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Struggling with the Starlink. Spent a lot of time setting up all the different repeaters here, and we're going to be stuck working with cell service. Quick reminder of the bake sale going on down at the Mad Cow and B&B Racing tents. All proceeds go to one of our East Coast competitors, Danny Benner, as he works on feeling better. Braxton Coleman over here in the orange and black and silver Milestar sponsored Pro Modified car. Just saw him backing out of the 5 bonus gate. That is a bonus gate for Pro Modified cars. Still working with 4 minutes on the clock. He does take that bonus cone on the bottom side there. Again, Braxton picking up that bonus cone on the bottom side. He will get credit for completing the more difficult obstacle, so it will be a 10-point bonus, but he will take a 10-point penalty for hitting that cone. So used a lot of time just to try and see if they could make that gate possible. All right, Brett Robinson in to get a better look. Braxton's got to make this transition here. He had the rear locker off. Now both lockers engaged, pulling the car forward. Front tires making the transition up the backside. He's wiggling the front wheels just a little bit, trying to free it up. Goes to a front dig only, trying to stretch the car out as it tries to pivot and rotate over onto the passenger side. Left rear starting to come up off the ground. He's still got looks like maybe 6 inches or so before that right front starts to put pressure down. Right rear sliding down the hill, squaring up just a little bit. All right, able to get that car freed up, come over the top of that 4 gate. We're here on the Brannick Motorsports Course A4. Brett's keeping a close eye on the cone on the right-hand side. All right, Braxton carrying those front tires down the back side. Gonna have to go to a front only and work his way out the finish gates over here. A great job by Suda Racing's Braxton Coleman. All right, we're gonna jump back over here with Coulter Brassani. All right, just like that, Coulter up on the back side here of that sounded like 5 minutes remaining for Coulter Brassani. He's got his Coulter Rocks license plate on the back of this buggy. See if they can find a way to sneak around this lower number 3 cone. Maverick Valesky doing a great job coaching him through. The front end has fallen down off of there. They're going to take a reverse here, try and reposition the car, that front differential touching down. They're going to try and side hill this a little bit further. Right where that cone is placed is in the V at the very bottom of this notch. Doing a great job using those rear tires to pivot the front around. He's got the front end through there, should be able to drag the rear. It's gonna get a little twisted up in here as the right front starts to climb. Left rear real high and both, that right rear and left front twisted all the way out. This Hulsey Enterprise chassis out of Dixie Springs, just south of here. A great job by this young man piloting this Buffalo Mountain Builders vehicle.
How much time? 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes remaining for Coulter here. He's got 2 gates left. That means he's got 1.5 minutes for each gate in order to work his way out of here. Coulter going to the throttle just a little bit as that rear end kicks sideways, keeps it rubber side down. A great job. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in online on the Werock Facebook page and YouTube. Maverick out of Texas. Coming out to spot for Coulter. Spotted for his daughter Julia just a few short weeks ago here down in Texas, taking a podium down there as well. It's just great to see these young men and women. They've got such great patience and car control. Take the cone, but he's gonna have to work his way out here with just a few seconds remaining. But he will do so very calm and collected, just like Coulter always does. He is running the side panel of Danny Benner. So a great tribute there, but Coulter able to complete the course here on the A2 Drive Shaft Specialist course of San Antonio. Meanwhile, right next door, car number 72 in the Pro Modified class, Vic Bunnis, working his way through gate number 1, dragging that rear differential, both rear tires off the ground. Able to slide down enough, find some traction. They will take that lower cone. It will be a 10-point penalty. So he works that orange and gray Pro Modified car. Coming down out of the Salt Lake area. wait on, I believe, Rick Jenkins up next. We'll take a peek here. Try and follow. Victor able to get the transfer case into front wheel drive, only going to pivot this front end down off the wall. They've got the left rear high enough. Right rear is going to fall in the hole, and the car will settle as he pivots around through gate number 2. So again, they will take another 10-point penalty there, but they will be allowed to proceed. Taking a reverse. 1-point penalty on that reverse. See the bright green ribbon on the back of this Pro Modified car. That is for our buddy Danny Benner. Again, thank you guys for coming out, spending a Saturday morning with us here for the 2026 Werock Western Series Round 2, presented by Fabin 801. All right, and Victor progression through gate number 3. Looking like he's in good shape to complete this course over here. All right, meanwhile, Rick Jenkins over on that drive shaft specialist course, getting lined up for gate 1, going to the throttle. Picking up the front tire just a little bit there. Wasn't quite the bump they needed to get up through gate number 1. All right, Victor going for the bonus over here. He's got plenty of time on the clock. He does have two penalties in his pocket, though. He's got to be careful here. If a team incurs 40 points, they will do what we call point out. Victor's got a very bent steering wheel on this Pro Modified car. All right, Rick Jenkins, Gencore 04, the orange and gray Pro Trail car, making his way up through gate number 1. Cody Declusion out spotting for him. This car typically driven by Jewel Jenkins out of Farmington, New Mexico. She's busy with school, not able to make it, so Dad borrowed the keys from her Pro Trail car. All right, Victor trying to get lined up here for gate number 4. Twisting this car all the way up, those custom ORI shocks from Jensen's Brother Off-Road here in Salt Lake. Yeah, Rick Jenkins making good work here popping up gate number 2. The running order for these teams are by chip draw. Those teams that start early on course today will run last tomorrow. Or if you start last today, you run first tomorrow. So time will tell if that, the goal is to level the playing field, but time will tell if that will be an advantage or not. I believe Victor's got 1 minute to make it through gate 4 here. He's got to get the front end all the way across in order to pull this rear tire away from the lower cone. Back in four-wheel drive, he's got a big hole on the right rear, pivoting the car around. It's looking really good, but very close. And they do take the cone. They will get the penalty on gate number 4. And 30 seconds to do a front dig on their way out. So a great run right there by Victor. We'll bounce back over here with Rick Jenkins, Gencor Racing, out of Farmington, New Mexico. Made quick work of gate number 3. I'm not sure if they just took it dirty, but that was pretty quick. Rick is running the Send It Charlie sticker on the back. That's a great reminder to all of our teams to keep your mind open. Nominations will open for the Sportsman of the Year later this year, but that's in honor of Charlie. Rick goes to the throttle with nothing engaged. I don't know if he was in neutral there or what they had going on, but Charlie was one of our oldest competitors for many, many years, and he always had a smile on his face, and he was always just a pleasure to be around, and in honor of, as he liked to be called, Old Man Charlie, we do the Charlie Vaca Sportsman of the Year Award, and that is given out in Farmington, New Mexico at the Grand National event. Rick Jenkins getting really light on that right front. He wiggled the steering wheel, tried to get the car to set down, but it only got worse. He's so close to the right rear, wanting to settle just a little bit. I'm not sure if he can do it. If he had a rear winch on this vehicle, that would help a ton. Went to reverse, able to settle the car down, but no winches attached to the axles that I see here on the Gencor car. All right, and Team Winn and another purple Pro Modified car number 228. Local team taking on the Pro Series courses. All right, and Rick is out through the Drive Shaft Specialist course here for their first course in Pro Trail for the 2026 Werock Western Series Round 2, presented by Fabin 801. All right, I know we got Charlie Melchner, little Charlie Melchner, watching on the YouTube side of things back in New York. We'll check in here on the Facebook. Got Brad from Arkansas watching, Jess Barwell, Veronica Miserak, Dwayne Lewis. John, yes, the UTV shootout starts at 4 p.m. today. That will be just on the top side here. You guys want to stick around for that one. That is always fun and exciting. Sean Cross, Luis Kapik, and Stephanie Melchner saying whoop pow for Danny as Team Winn works their way up on the Maxis boulder right here. Hey, Mr. Parks, off-road photography, checking in as well. Got Racing Rabbit Finland watching all the way from Finland. Thanks for tuning in over there, guys. And also from Fountain Hills, Arizona, Kevin P. Thanks for watching. Take a reverse here, try and get lined up one more time to get that right front to just barely touch the cone is the goal. They've got plenty of tire in there now. They've got 2 tires through gate number 2. These air shocks are fully extended on the front. You can see the winch attached from the front axle up to the chassis. They're going to pull this winch in just a little bit, try and keep it from unloading, but that can be really tricky as it limits the flex out of the vehicle. Back into a front wheel drive. This right front, or left front, driver's front raceline wheel is full of this granite that he just picked up off of that boulder. Holding pressure on the brake. All right, he's got progression on gate number 2. They're going to take a reverse here. Car very off camber, using the winches front and rear to settle it down. Front wheel drive only. Want to give a huge shout out to our volunteer judges out here helping us make this event possible. If you guys are interested in helping judge at a Werock event, make sure you stop by the Werock trailer there with the Maxis Easy Ups. And nice and quick through gate number 3. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Headed up over into the bonus line over here. See if they've got what it takes to make it through. Check. at this left front. Just keeps climbing to the sky. That right front is in a little undercut. Very tricky notch. Left rear way up off the ground now. All right, and only a 1-point penalty for that reverse for trying the bonus. So worthwhile. Got to get off the rear diff here, back up into the notch. A little over 2 minutes remaining on their time to get through gate number 4. All right, 1:55 remaining for the purple team Winn car. You can see that rear tire stationary, locking differential unlocked on the back side there. All right, 22 seconds remaining here for the Winns to get through gate number 4 and out through the finish line. If they do not complete it in time, that is a 40-point penalty. They take the cone, huge nose wheelie as they work their way to the bottom. And just several feet from the finish before they timed out, but a great job keeping that car rubber side down and working their way through this very difficult Brannick Motorsports course. Hey, Caleb. Caleb, they're not running on A2 yet. All right, our unlimited competitors are working their way through course A1 over there, the Behemoth Boulder. A great field of unlimited competitors this weekend and a great field of pro modified cars. And I believe we're around 30 36, 38 sportsman class vehicles. All right, we got the 906 Rooted Off-Road watching from Michigan, and Potato Racing watching from Australia. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and giving us a shout out over on the YouTube side. All right, Christian Briski, car number 37 out of New Mexico. Gonna take a couple stabs to get lined up here for gate number 1, trying to miss that lower cone. The tricky part is the rear differential rides right up a fin. Ernie Armijo keeping an eye on things, getting those BF Goodrich sticky compound tires lined up for gate number 1. If you guys have ever been down to New Mexico for the Chili Challenge, there's a good chance you've had Ernie as one of your trail guides down there. And they've tried to go so high with the rear tires all the way back into this corner that the rear tires are actually trying to push them down the hill off to the side. They will take the lower gate after all those reverses. Still end up taking that with the penalty over there. All right, front wheel drive only. Try and pivot around this rock. Now using that rear drive, try and get pivoted around the rock. Christian is working with a manual transmission in this Pro Modified car. All right, so they've got progression, or at least on the front 2 tires. Using the extremely low gear ratio in this manual transmission Pro Modified. Christian doing a great job just letting this car crawl through the beautiful granite here in Cedar City. We are at the Three Peaks Recreation Area. Gonna have to get this refired. Running a 4-liter inline 6. Trying to get the front tires to slip. Always seems to be the case. That right front hooked down on the lower side of that rock. Christian tightening the rear winch just a little bit. Keep the car stable as he works across this rock face. And clear through gate number 3. So with an extra couple reverses here, but on pace with the rest of the class. And right next door, we've got a sportsman class rig on its side, and the notch over here working their way through a bonus line. I can see through the trees down there on the RT off-road sportsman courses. Got David Book watching back home. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Unlimiteds are putting on a show over on the Behemoth Drivetrain course. We will catch up with them very shortly, see if we can get some updates. We've got one more Pro Modified here on A4. And then Pro Trail is up next, a field of Ron Arch, Coulter Brassani, and Rick Jenkins up here from Farmington with the 4x4 corners, 4x4 week down there. All right, looks like Christian is going to end up taking the cone on the right rear tire here. Does keep it rubber side down. The engine, I couldn't tell if it was on or off. Did not have to go to the throttle, but it stayed nice and steady. Want to give a huge shout out to Iron County for having us out here for the 2026 Werock Western Series Round 2 presented by Fabin 801. If you guys have never seen a laser welder in person, you can stop by down here just across from the Tire Right tent. Lauren Cray is your Pro Modified winner from Texas just a month ago. Brand new car, about 3 days worth of seat time for that event. We'll see if some extra seat time and some more tweaks on that car, what they've got in store here for the Branding Motorsports A4 course. And just starting to see Ben Hutchison working his way up on course A2 over there. The bright yellow Jesse Haynes fabrication car running those 42-inch sticky compound Maxxis Trepadors. Lauren backing his way into the corner of the course over here. You can see the Four Corners 4x4 week on the hood there. The Four Corners 4x4 week kicks things off for our Grand National event in Farmington, New Mexico. And that starts off with Labor Day weekend with a swap meet. Tuesday is the the official start to the week, sorry. Guided trails and all kinds of things all week long. All right, getting some stack. Yes. Check. Recovery to C4. Caleb, we need, Caleb or Nick, we need recovery to C4, please. If anybody's got a radio, oh, it looks like Caleb's on his way. Did they get clean through gate 1?
Yeah, just
Nice.
barely. It was a nice game.
All right, Lauren able to get through. Lauren able to get through gate number 1 clean. So looking good so far, working his way into the Branding Motorsports A4 course here. Car number 47, Craze Fab LLC. Another manual transmission. This is a full Toyota drivetrain in this Pro Modified car. Tried to do a front burn there, just slid off the wall. Whether that was intentional or not, but a great move. Again, working the steering wheel side to side, trying to get this car to settle. All right, Lauren, I don't know if it was encouragement from the crowd or not, but Lauren lined up for the bonus over here. They're going to take it dirty, so they will get a 10-point bonus and a 10-point penalty. They will have to make the bigger drop over here. We'll see. All right, and down into the bottom through the bonus. All right, Lauren getting a little tippy here. Left rear tire way up off the ground as the right front is down in the bottom of the notch. That should help slide the car sideways. All right, so we've got some discussion going back and forth between driver and spotter on how they're going to attempt this. Heard your spotter say he's got 2 ways of doing it, but neither one of them were encouraging. He's got the rear in a great spot in order to clear the cone, but the car is laying on the passenger side. Trying to add to a great run here so far for Lauren Cray. Oh, just twisting this car up, sending the left front to the sky every time he lets out on the clutch a little bit. That right rear just down in the bottom of the notch. He's got a great run going here. Will he be able to get himself out of this situation? All right, went to the throttle. Lauren went to the throttle. Picked up 3 cones. They were able to get through gate number 1 clean. Taking gate number 4 though, however. And the Unlimited's putting on a great show over on that Behemoth drivetrain course. Absolutely insane. Rear winch sucked in really tight over here, right rear tire coming up off the ground as it just drags on the belly. A little bit of throttle keeps it rubber side down as the rear tires come up off the ground. Logan trying to get the rear steer to cooperate with him over here. Had to go to a rear only. It was bound up so bad it wouldn't turn. Back into 4-wheel drive, grinding this passenger side of the G-Spec car out of St. George, actually out of Werock, Utah. And a great run for Logan Bakis out of Werock, Utah, car number 417, running that Sasquatch Motorsports G-Spec car. All right, looks like we've got Craig Allen and Nate Reed in the Juicy Whip machine. Up next on A2. Meanwhile, right next door, Boober Anderson in the bright orange Cherokee in the stock modified class. That is a Sportsman C, car number 79. Beautiful gray paint on this Napa sponsored machine. Once again, want to give a huge shout out to Iron County for having us out here at the Three Peaks Recreation Area for the 2026 Werock Western Series Round 2, presented by Fabin 801. In 10 minutes has started for Craig Allen in the Juicy Whip machine. Nate Reed working his way up top. Lining up for the 5th gate, now known as the blue line, for those blue cones. And right next door, Ben Hutchison kicking the Unlimiteds off on course A3 as well. Craig Allen working on course A2 right here on the Maxxis Tires A2 course. Our buddy Dave Wong up here supporting his fellow competitors representing Tire Right. If you guys got any questions about any type of inflation deflators or the best tire gauge on the market, check out those Tire Right gauges over there. Dave, very familiar with those gauges, been running those a very long time. No, I did not say a very long time. All right, Craig's got that left front dropping off the wall now, steering up parallel with the rock. Craig trying to use that steering. Sounds like he did a little bit of work on it. That steering pump was squealing really hard after Texas. All right, up through the blue line now, over to gate number 1. Ricky Ricardo up top on the Behemoth Boulder. Nate moving a rock out of the way, trying to ease that transition. Should be plenty of room. Sneak this narrow comp rig in between the rock, this Maxxis rock, and the driver's side number 1 cone. Greg always doing a great job, being very meticulous, working this vehicle through the courses. Craig crab walking the tires up and around through there. Gonna have to, he's holding that left rear cutting brake with the ARB locker off, pivoting his car up and around, trying to get lined up for gate number 2. Craig settling the rear tires down into the notch as he drops off crooked here through gate number 2 in this Juicy Whip machine. Allowing those sticky compound BF Goodrich tires try and grip this granite. Got my buddy Ben Hanks over here checking things out. Craig easing forward now, turning the front tires to pull the rear through the gate and clean through gate number 2. Front wheel drive as he works his way around the notch. Recovery over on A2, recovery to A2. Craig Allen taking a tumble. Had a great run going here. Unfortunately, car pivoted off sideways. You good, Craig? Did you guys call for recovery on the radio? Okay. All right, again, we're looking for recovery over here on the A2 Max's Tire course. Nick or Caleb, Nick or Caleb, recovery to A2. Ben, you want to grab my Bronco? Thank you.
I don't know. It started sliding, but I thought at some point the tires would hit the ground. Yeah, like we had the octopus split front sauce. That's what like I think I left the left front not too high and the right front was just in the air, so it just went under. I think. I'll have to check this. It's a great place to be. Especially with a car that, yeah, you're gonna have to hold bugs. This car hates being upside down. Especially for 30 minutes. Oh, check out that lower lane. It's fucking crazy.
No.
Not right here. Not right here. What do you even do? Hey, that's new.
He's right just over.
Don't hit the ball. thinking something like wrap in there.
Yeah, just go, if you go down to the corner there, you'll be all right.
I think it's still just right out here.
Either he's got a soft pedal or he's got no brake.
What's up?
They go out.
He didn't mention.
rear.
Pass in the rear again. Tyler, pass in the rear again. That's what I was going to do, back down.
Back down, it's just going to slam it into that rock there, back down.
That was all right. Well, I didn't think that the right row was going to fall into the hole. I'm not sure down to see that. I thought when it bellied, it would slide and then reset. And it did.
I didn't even see what happened to you. I just saw you drop it in, and I turned around, all jumped back, and you're asking for recovery.
Yeah, that right front never hit the ground, so I could tell. They tried to drive out, and all of a sudden the rears were there. Better roll, Tyler.
Not my car. I ain't with it.
Well, this one time, it was like, tap one more time, and it went boom.
They go, hey! Oh, fuck. Start going, drive up there. Hey.
It did. All right, Craig Allen back on all fours and off course here. Had also recovery over on the Brady Motorsports A4 course. Right now we've got Michael Brassani and Chris Poblano ready to take on the Maxxis Tires A2 course. Unlimited teams are working Michael right now on his second course of the day, so still lots of action to go. Mr. Woody, I Hate Mud himself, taking a break from building a brand new home. Come check out the action here at Three Peaks.
Rick felled over. He pushed him back over though.
So does Nick's winch not work at all?
I guess not. I don't think so. He quit. It also doesn't stop, which didn't help the recovery bill. It really needs to pull him.
Want to thank Carbon Off-Road Winches for their support of Werock. Got a brand new 9,000
Bronco?
high speed. Yeah, it is in the phone holder. Putting it to work out here this weekend. Been very impressed with how smooth the operation is, how quiet it is, and consistent. The speed, the no-load speed is very, very quick, but then geared down to a very nice pull ratio with that 9,000 pound winch. Carbon Off-Road Winches, an Australia-based company. When you think of very durable things, surviving the outback out all by yourself, you want the best in equipment from a company you can trust. Carbon Off-Road Winches. Make sure you check them out if you get the opportunity. Braxton Coleman running a couple on his Suda Racing Pro Modified car, the orange Bronco for recovery. He's got that brand new 9,000 high speed on there. Chris Poblano moving some huge granite boulders here to try and ease the transition on the blue line for car number 7, the Laser Nut. Sponsored B&B Racing machine out of Dixie Springs, Utah. Thank you guys for coming out and joining us for round 2 of the Werock series, of the Western series, I should say. Kick things off down in Baghdad, Arizona. Back at the end of February, March, we were in Texas, down at Katemsi Off-Road Park. All right, now that we're back online with you guys, I'll check in real quick. Thanks for hanging with us. Rick Blackburn, thanks for tuning in, buddy. I'll have to check and see how Noah's day is going. I haven't seen him drive by yet. Check in with you guys over here on the YouTube side as well. Helicopter recovery vehicle, that would be amazing. I don't know that I would trust myself to drive that. I'm better with rock crawlers. All right, Chris keeping a close eye on things. Michael doing a great job rubbing the sidewall of that 42-inch tall BF Goodrich tire wrapped around those Raceline Rhino wheels. Michael wants to thank Warren Winches, Sand Hollow Off-Road, Brannig Motorsports, and JM Rigging. Mike got bound in here with the tires turned 50 degrees, had to go to a rear burn just to free the tires up a little bit. It's pivoted right into the base of the wall. It's got that sidewall pushed in there, clearing that uphill side cone. You smell the race fuel. You can smell the race fuel coming out of this Laser Nut sponsored machine. Mike making the transition here, dropping that right front all the way down in that little crack while he's off camber. Got the car settled back down, steering the rear tires uphill a little bit. Saw Craig make really easy work of this gate. All right, Chris got him straightened out away from the uphill cone just for a few more inches. Worst case, even if the car does slide, it should hook right here, allow him to pivot that car around. He could hold that right front cutting brake if he wanted to try and put some pressure on that right front, pivot the rear tires around. We'll see if he can get some forward bite out of here as it slides sideways. Holding on to the transmission shifter, it looks like now holding the right front cutting brake. Great move right there by Chris Poblano to call that out. Put some pressure on that right front, get the car to pivot sideways, and it just does not. Unfortunately, tires turned way too far sideways and just sloughing down. Left front trying to come up off the ground right here as he just wants to make the transition to the bottom. Fighting the transfer case in this Laser Nut machine. Trying to get it to shift gears, operating the transmission shifter with one hand. All right, and he gets the car settled down, but a couple tense moments there trying to just get the car to stay rubber side down after gate number 2. Incredibly difficult quarter for round number 2. We've got a whole day of action tomorrow as well. Make sure you guys come back. We start early tomorrow, 9 a.m., and we'll conclude the day with the shootout. Starts at 4 o'clock here on the top side. Call your friends, let them know. Plenty of action left to go here for day 1 of the Werock Western Series. It's just been a gorgeous day here at Cedar City. All right. Chris and Mike have a completely different plan going on here for the bonus line. Let's keep an eye on this, see if this works. We just saw Craig Allen take a tumble off the backside, and it looks like Michael Brassani working his way sideways down this. Working their way around the cone, using the real estate available to try and keep this car up on the flat side. Right front pushing into the boulder. Gonna burn a little bit of extra time in here to get through this bonus gate, but this could make a pretty easy transition. That's a 15-foot drop that he's getting ready to push the rear tires off of sideways. He's got the right front held against the rock over here on the edge. Boom. Brassani, Chris Poblano, they did get the low side cone on gate number 2 over here, but otherwise clean through the Maxxis Tires A2 course. Got Laura Nance right next door with Sand Hollow Off-Road. Beautiful purple and white. Car number 76. Yeah, just hard trying to fight the microphone picking up and getting where I have internet and playing cymbals with my left toes. Uh-oh. Suck the rear winch in. That'll stop it right there. Hi, buddy. I learned some things this week about my buddy Ben Hanks with Ben Hanks Racing and Thomas Miser with Fabin 801 this week on this week's Werock Wednesday. Those are available on YouTube and Facebook for 30 days if you want to check out those conversations. But a great interview with Thomas Miser. We did have some technology problems, which seems to be normal for us these days. Laura Nance bringing that right front tire way up off the ground there as they work through the Sportsman course, showing you just how difficult these Sportsman courses are. Hey Colby, I don't know if you've ordered lunch for the judges yet or not, but if you want to stop by the Goldmine food trailer, get some delicious food picked up for our volunteers, that would be amazing. Again, Colby, I don't know if you've ordered food for judges yet or not. I don't have a radio on me. All right, looks like we got Michael Brassani lined up on the drive shaft specialist of San Antonio A3 course. Moving right from one course to the next. We'll pick up the action over here with him in that beautiful blue Laser Nut sponsored machine. Chris moving some stack rocks, trying to ease the transition for the bonus line on gate number 2. Michael going to work by himself over here on gate number 1. This rock's got a little notch down at the bottom. Should be able to keep the car nice and centered. Got really close to that uphill cone, able to straighten the rear out. It's gonna have Chris keep an eye on the low cone for him over here. All right, Chris is going to work, grabbing a few more of these granite boulders here from Three Peaks Recreation Area. Michael spinning the car around in front wheel drive only. Got to get the rear tires away from the rock face. Chris is going to sneak in for one more rock, try and ease this transition, get the right rear up on the wall. Underneath the car now, stacking rocks, trying to pave a nice smooth ramp. Completely underneath the car, right underneath Michael. Moving these huge boulders around. Chris, a physical, I believe a physical therapist. Works out constantly to be in shape for himself and to be out here to move these rocks and work as hard as he needs to get these cars on the podium for BMB Racing. Michael ready to try the climb here for bonus 2. Nice and easy, front tires are up, back out on the throttle. Make sure he is leaving plenty of room clear between both of these bonus cones at the top side here. And this will be a very tricky gate over on the backside of the drive shaft specialist A3 course. It is a sheer wall with a very tight gate. The Pro Trail had a lot of extra space over here that the Unlimiteds will not have access to. Michael getting this car all twisted up, dropping down. Right front has touched, left front still way up in the air. Trying to get the transfer case shift into front wheel drive only. Driving on the sidewall of this 42-inch tall BF Goodrich tire, trying to get around gate number 3 here. He's still got a couple inches from the top of the cone to the tire. As he starts to curl it around, the rock is going to start to fall off the back side here. Using the rear winch to pull the chassis back square. All right, right front has touched the ground. He's got to turn the rear tires uphill. He's also got to remember that he's got that rear winch tight. He's going to need that. There he goes, letting that rear winch out. Going to have to drive this car up the wall. He's got it hooked on the left rear. Flexing these 18-inch sway away Jesse Haynes fabrication air shocks out, both on the right rear and left front, all the way out. Rear axle is straight up and down on the wall right now. Mike's getting the car sorted. Chris ran to the bottom to get the rope just in case they need it. He's got less than an inch over here on this cone, working that right rear steer away from it, and was able to drive that thing vertically with the rear axle through gate number 3. Turn around, make the drop here on gate 4. Mike's going to come off this just straight on. Right front is going to touch first, pivot around a little bit. All right, sounds like they're headed for the bonus over here. All right, heads up down at the bottom. Chris is moving some rocks. You guys pay attention down there, Matt, if you'll push just in case. Getting ready to drop the rear tires off. Chris keeping an eye on trying to keep things square here. Dropping into a little bit of a notch on the back side. Oh, and the car just settled down right on top of the cone. Like it was a perfect drop. It couldn't have been any better. But unfortunately, it was just enough for that left front. Hung on the front differential, gonna have to work its way around here just a little bit, break some of the rock off that he was able to use to ease that transition. So some changes on the course here as some of this rock comes apart. for car number 7, B&B Racing. That is Chris Poblano and Michael Brassanini. Thank you guys for joining us on a beautiful afternoon here in Cedar City. Chris Poblano going to work unstacking some of the rocks that he moved over here. Ricky Ricardo, car number 99. Ultra 4 Ricky. Working on that Maxxis course over there with a set of 42-inch Maxxis Trepadors. Guys, make sure you stop by the Mad Cow and B&B Racing bake sale over there. All proceeds go towards one of our East Coast competitors in his recovery after a motorcycle accident. If you guys have never seen a laser welder in action, you can check that out as well. Just across from the Tire Right booth. And speaking of that Tire Right booth, that is some of the best tire gauges. Work on tires. If you're running water in your tires, it'll work for that as well, or it can check the nitrogen in your shocks as well. So a very versatile tire gauge from Tire Right. They've got some awesome work hose, water hoses, air compressors, and tire deflators. I'm sure you guys find Dave Wong. He'll tell you all about the amazing benefits of the Tire Right product line over there. Also, Fabin 801, just up the road here in Parowan. Usually see his vehicles parked out front right along the highway. He's got some of his great chassis over there that they build out of that shop. Or if you just need fabrication work of any kind, make sure you call Fabin 801 right here in Parowan, Utah. Greg Allen with the Juicy Whip machine back underway, burning off some of the oil that got in the top end of the motor. Ricky Ricardo, Unlimited 4x4 and Crawler, car number 99. got 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining here for Ricky. He's trying to operate all the different levels. He's actually driven the rear tires underneath itself. Again, fighting that transfer case. These rocks here in Cedar City really bind these cars up, make it very difficult. And that looks like that will be time for Ricky Negrete. All right, meanwhile, we got John Himble waiting on deck for the Maxxis Tire A2 course. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to stop by the Dole Whip ice cream trailer there, but some of my favorite ice cream in the world right there, Dole Whip ice cream. Tell them thanks for coming out and supporting the Werock here at Cedar City. And I mean, if you're so inclined, you can stop by and pick some up for me. Just saying. Got a question coming in from Facebook from Tim Graham, wanting to know how much water they run in these tires. And that will really vary from time to time. If you guys don't know, all of these vehicles out here this weekend have some amount of water in at least the front tires. They can go anywhere from the bottom of the wheel halfway up to typically the max that most people ever run would be to the top of the wheel. Some of the teams even run to the bottom of the wheel in the rear. But on a 42-inch tall tire, you could be looking somewhere around 400 pounds is what one of those front tires will weigh. So an extra 800 pounds of mass that glues these things to the rocks and keeps them rubber side down. So Tim, to answer your question, it can be a lot of weight added by water in these tires. We'll check in here on the YouTube side while we wait on John Himble to get underway. Craig Allen getting ready to pull on the Drive Shaft Specialist A3 course here as well. Talking to Craig a little bit earlier this week, this has always been a tough place for him. Coming into this weekend here at Cedar City, out of the 5 events that he has competed in Cedar City, 4 of them he has rolled over here. And unfortunately, keeping that streak alive, now out of 6 events, he has rolled 5 times. All right, and time has started for John Himble, Mad Cow Racing. Dave Binkert out front. Dave grabbing a huge rock, trying to ease the transition around that lower blue cone. John trying something a little bit different with his tires this weekend. We'll be switching back to the Milestars, but for this weekend, wanted to see the difference and be able to compare those to the Sticky Compound Milestar tires that he typically runs. Right now, starting his 2nd course on the Maxxis Tire A2. Meanwhile, Braxton Coleman making the climb over on A1 in the Pro Modified car up the Behemoth Boulder. Some cheers over there on the Crown Automotive Sportsman courses. Lots of ways to get involved with Werock. Running in the Amateur Series is one of those ways. John trying to push that left front tire back up on top. Now it's got that tire parallel with the rock face, using the rear tires to pivot away. See if he can carry this left rear tire up the rocks. This is the 5th gate for both the Pro Trail and the Unlimited class. As if things weren't difficult enough, we throw 1 extra gate into the mix for these guys. And John doing a great job crawling his way through the blue line over here on the Maxxis Tire A2 course. Meanwhile, Craig Allen right behind us in the Juicy Whip machine on that Drive Shaft Specialist A3. All right, John all the way up to the top side of the course, try and ease this transition. Dave using his extra height in order to show John where the cone is. He's going to have to do a pretty hard front burn. He's got the rear tires turned downhill. That will act as a brake out of the rear as well. Rear tire is sloughing down just a little bit, but he's got them turned a nice direction here. Not too aggressive. Right front touches down as he transitions across the crack. Dave Binkert keeping a close eye as they crab walk the car sideways up top. Looking great so far. He's going to get a progression penalty right here. You'll have to call for a progression penalty because he missed gate 1.
Progression.
10-point penalty for progression. Tell Dave. Tell Dave. Tell him he doesn't know. Dave. Dave.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
It's only 10-point penalty.
I can't hear him. 10-point penalty.
So go not. You got to go back and do 1 and 2 again. All right, and a tough break for John Himble. Just doing a great job with this course, and they completely forgot to do gate number 1 after doing the blue gate. So they're going to have to pick up the pace now. Get turned around, back up through gate number 1. Got to go through gate number 1 and then over to gate number 2. So not only do they have the time penalty, but also a 10-point penalty. All right, sounds like Braxton Coleman finishing the Behemoth Course A1 over there in his Pro Modified car. All right, John picking up the pace here, getting back. Got to do the same thing through gate number 2 here. They were nice and cautious the first time. Now they've burned all that time getting through gate number 2. Craig Allen upside down again. We're going to need recovery over to course A3. Craig Allen is upside down again in the Juicy Whip machine. All right, 3 minutes, 40 seconds remaining for John. So even with having to redo gate number 2, go back and find gate 1, he's still got 3 minutes and 40 seconds here on the clock.
Go, 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 go.
I'm not sure that John had his rear blocker engaged on that. I couldn't tell. Looked like that left rear did not want to pull the same. All right, so we'll see what John's got in store here. Looks like he's going to try and copycat the same line, so a lot of time. That this is going to take to work this car around, but still with just under half. All right, going to burn this rear tire down over the edge, try and ease that transition. Car settled down, gonna have to take a reverse here. Minute 40 remaining for John Himble, so still plenty of time to get through gate 4 and out through the finish with this purple Mad Cow machine. Rocking that We Are Danny Strong sticker. Huge shout out to the amazing rock crawling community rallying around Dean and Danny Benner. And a great line right here by John, dropping into this notch, straddling it all the way down, allowing these sticky tires to just grab a hold of this beautiful granite rock at the Three Peaks Recreation Area.
Okay, go forward, go forward.
Oh, he's got it bound in here. The car does not want to go forward right now. The steering has turned all the way up against the right front. He's able to get it freed up and find his way down to the bottom. So a great recovery here for John Himble and Dave Binkard, putting on a show on the Max's A2 course. A great run for these guys. Caleb is right here. Do we want to go over that way?
That's what I would do. Pull the front end up there and mix it that way.
I'd roll it over.
What's he gonna do? Scratch it? Pull it up.
I don't want to lower the resale value.
I got fresh spray paint.
Well, once again, Caleb gets to use that brand new carbon off-road winch out of Australia. It's a high-speed 9,000. It's got a really nice low gear for when you're pulling hard like this, but then it's in free spool. It's very, very quick. We saw in King of the Hammers this year turned into a winching competition there towards the end once it got dark and they were on unfamiliar territory. Once again, thanks for joining us here for the Werock Western Series Round 2, presented by Fab 801. If you guys are in the area and need any type of fab work done, make sure you check out Fab 801. Just a couple miles up the road out of Parowan. Whether you need a full tube chassis, you want to build your own from one of his chassis, oh my God. Craig has about 150 pounds of dirt inside. More. He has a lot of dirt.
The wheels down to start with. Come on now.
If you guys are interested in any type of earthwork, make sure you hit up Craig Allen with Juicy Whip. He'll come by and grade your front yard for you. All right, we've got this young man in car number 17 out of Dixie Springs, Utah. Brett Dicki spotted by his father, Matt. Matt finally picked up a win over Brett here just a few weeks ago at the area BFE shootout. Some awesome side-by-side rock crawling. And Matt able to pilot his G-Spec car to the top of the courses faster than anyone else combined. Craig Allen actually laid down the fastest time on course 1. Matt and Brett talking some last-minute strategy. James Dunham says, Craig Allen Excavator Services, LLC. Thanks, James. Want to thank Maxxis Tires for the support of the 2026 Werock season. We are headed off to West Virginia here in just a couple weeks, where we will kick off the eastern leg of the 2026 season. I want to thank Laser Nut. Any type of laser cutting, welding, or forming, check out Laser Nut, providing all of our amazing trophies for all of our participants this weekend. Both the driver and spotter receive a trophy, and that is courtesy of Laser Nut. All right, time has started. 10 minutes on the clock for Brett Dicki here on the Maxxis Tire A2 course, working his way over to the blue line. And immediately attacking the bonus all the way up on the hill. We'll see what they have in store for this. Pushing this single seat Hulsey car, fabricated by Richard Hulsey out of Grand Junction, Colorado. Working his way between the banner and the bonus cone. Right next door, we've got Ryan Maxfield and Nate Hurst, the old Snowflake Cherokee. Big Bonus working his way to the top of the Behemoth Drivetrain A1 course. Brett looking good as he's backing off the bonus here on the Maxxis Tire A2, that silver Hulsey car. Front engine, it is the only front engine unlimited car out here this weekend. State-of-the-art 2.3 liter Ford EcoBoost underneath the hood of this machine. It's got 2 wins from round 1 of the Western Series, and in the East versus West out of Texas. Looking to add another one to the trophy box. Actually, he's probably got a trophy room at this point. Matt doing a great job coaching him through off of this big rock. A little bit of smoke starting to come out. He does get both cones on the standard line, but he keeps it rubber side down. A great save right there by Brett Dicki to keep this car moving forward on course. Absolutely amazing car control. All right, quick work through gate number 1 here. John Himble showed just how quickly this can be done. Brett being cheered on at home by Gail. Thanks for tuning in. Always out supporting this young man in any way they can.
Driver on the front. Driver on the front. Take your rear. Take your rear. All right, turn down. Turn down, man. Good.
All right, Brett getting sideways here on gate number 2. They've taken a wide line. Pretty similar. Kind of hucked the car over. Using that, we haven't talked about that yet this weekend, this slipper clutch on the rear drive line. Watch out behind you. Instead of doing a front dig, he's able to just grab another set of clutches for the rear drive line. Makes it very quick and easy. We've seen a lot of these teams fight to get that transfer case disengaged. Brett has that advantage to reach up there, grab that slipper clutch, and do a front burn regardless of how bound up the car is. So another bit of amazing technology that's come out just in the last 2 years. All right, Brett wasn't sure that he really wanted to back down this. I think he just wanted to drive straight off of it. Matt's got him turned around, headed into the same line.
You can drive over that. Keep going forward. Forward. Keep going.
Oh, he's getting pitched off to the side. He's got the whole car over the edge right now, pushing into the big front rock. Will it be enough to keep the car rubber side down here as he pushes hard into that front differential, pivoting those rear tires around? All right, keep an eye on Brett over here as he works his way, trying to get this car pivoted around. Coming off of here sideways, the right front is still up top. They are taking a reverse right here, so they will have a 1-point penalty with that right front starting to slough off as he comes down sideways. Left rear starting to fight. To the throttle, sends it to the bottom of the hill. Another great save. And very familiar to territory for these guys. Wheeling Sand Mountain, just outside there of Dixie Springs and Hurricane area. Run a lot of these notches down in that area, able to settle this car down right to the bottom and out to the finish gates. So a couple of tense moments right there for Brett. Ended up taking 2 penalty points on the cones over there, it looks like, but a great effort for Brett and Matt Dicki as they come out through the Maxxis Tire A2 course. All right, back on course with Sawyer Brassani in the copper-plated Moonshine laser nut sponsored B&B racing machine. If you guys have not checked out our YouTube page, if you wouldn't mind going on there, giving us a like, subscribe to our page, click that notification bell if you'd like to see future live events. Clint Kressler in the background, teaming up with Michael Oakes for this weekend. Looking good as they make it through gate number 3, tossing some sand out there to break traction on that slick rock as they line up for the bonus line on the backside. Meanwhile, Sawyer Brassani, B&B Racing, dropping through gate number 2. The vehicle, not sure this was the right direction to try and push this car. Lots of room downhill from where they are. He's walking this car all the way up across the notch. This could get interesting here for Sawyer. He's biting his bottom lip, holding tight. He knows that things are getting worse the higher he goes up. But he's pretty much committed at this point to try and walk this car across the rock face, very close to the standard line, the standard cone over here on gate number 3. Left front tire, Colin could almost stand underneath this left front tire. Keep an eye here on Sawyer Brassani trying to get this car to settle down up here. He's got it in a very precarious spot, about 5 foot underneath the left front tire. They do take the standard cone, but they are just trying to keep this car rubber side down right now. They're cresting, headed towards the bottom. And they've got the car settled back down. So things did not quite go as planned. Caleb, if you have some oil dry, we'll need that up here. taking advantage of that room on the outside of this bonus cone, work their way through the cone, try and get in position to drop down towards the easier side. Brett just put on some crazy amount of driving as he works to try and peel this right rear tire off of the bead. There's probably 1.5 inches that tire pulled away from the inside of the bead, caught on the backside of this rock. Gonna go to a rear burn right here. Turbocharger spooling up a little bit, adjusting the transfer case again there. He does not